welcome here to TalkFCB, and welcome to a big weekend for Barca and indeed for Xavi as we look ahead to Osasuna against Barca coming on Sunday there at 4:15 local time. But what we are going to be doing in today's video is completely focusing on the team selection. Because I think now, after back-to-back defeats against Betis, then indeed the humiliation of crashing out of the Champions League, Xavi, I feel now, is starting to gain a much clearer understanding of the players that he can trust, and even more importantly, those that he can't. And with that in mind, we are going to be looking today at what changes Xavi could make in the team, and how many of those changes are we about to see. And given our injury situation, particularly up front, it's going to be interesting. There is debate in every area of our team, so let's get to it. Because as you can see, coming into this game, Xavi's injury list only keeps growing, with a number of long-term absentees still on the sidelines. Roberto there underwent successful surgery in Finland this week, but those players have also been joined on the sidelines there by Jordi Alba after he went off injured against Bayern, and indeed Memphis Depay, who's going to be out for the rest of 2021. And what that means is that Xavi has a big decision and plenty of solutions that need finding in those forward areas. And as you can see right here, in his squad, he has named Ferran Jutgla, who's received his first ever call-up to the first team. He's a winger there, predominantly on the right side. And Jutgla has also been used in the past in a more defensive role on that right side too. But I think in this game, what I would like to see first and foremost from Xavi is reverting there back to 4-3-3, because I know right now we have a lot of issues there in fullback areas, in wide areas as well. We're not blessed here with many different options, but I just think there we should try and avoid starting with 3 centre-backs, because honestly, for me, centre-back is one of our weakest areas. That is one of the areas of the team where actually we've not got quality. We've not got an abundance there of quality, so for me, try and field the least number of centre-backs as you actually can, and I think the focus needs to be playing players where they're comfortable. Because as we move now to the potential starting line, I'm going to give some thoughts on what I would like to see, and we're going to start by going over some of the more obvious areas before coming on to some of the more debatable ones. But at left back for me, in the absence there of Jordi Alba, it has to be, it simply must be Alejandro Balde. Because in the past, we've seen Serginho Dest play at left back, we've also seen Oscar Mingueza more recently playing in that area, and honestly, it doesn't suit them, especially Mingueza. He has been really poor, being played out of position, let's not forget. And I just think right here, yes, Alejandro Balde's young, yes, of course, he's got a lot to improve and grow, but he's a natural left back. We should be playing players here where they are most suited, and that's why for me, he has to start in that role. And using that same theory, I would say at right back, it has to be Serginho Dest, because again, you've played Mingueza there, you've played other players in sort of wing-back roles, you've had Dembele tracking back, Abde tracking back, but I just think here, Serginho Dest at right back, I know that he's not perfect, and I know that he does have a lot to improve upon in the defensive side of his game, but he's only going to do that, he's only going to improve and take those steps if you play him regularly in that role. And honestly, we don't have a lot of choice right now until Dani Alves is indeed allowed to play, so Dest for me would start there with Balde in those full back areas. Then at centre back, I think you could actually make an argument there, looking at Araujo and also looking at Gerard Piqué. You could probably use either of those players as an emergency striker. And I'm not actually joking, because I think Araujo and indeed Piqué, they've actually been some of our most threatening players this season going forward. So I wonder if that thought has crossed Xavi's mind. But the problem is, I want to make it very clear here, we need Araujo in our defence. We need him there at centre-back, and I think he has to play there as one of the two. We don't really want him drifting out into the right-back role. We want him there at the very heart of our defence, in the centre, where he can be a leader for this back four. And alongside him, I think it's close. I would personally opt on this occasion for Eric Garcia to come in. He didn't play against Bayern. I would bring him back in here to play alongside Araujo. But you would have to say, how long is it going to be now until we see Samuel Umtiti? Surely now, given the fact that Longley had a chance against Bayern, didn't take that chance, surely it can't be too far away before Umtiti is given, at last, some minutes in this team before we do move into midfield. And I think one of the first names names on the team sheet in that midfield now, it's going to be Xavi. Because I think Xavi, especially against Bayern, he was so impressed there, not just with the performance, but with the attitude of Xavi. Apparently after the game, he actually told him that he was an example for the rest of the squad, and that he was so happy with what he was doing. So I think Xavi there is definitely going to start in one of those midfield positions. Then you look out wide, I would actually play there Abde over on the left. We have seen him over on the right for the majority of his time in the first team, but certainly down at youth level, he has actually played the majority of his football on the left. So I would play him there, combining on that side with all of that pace, unbelievable there, with Alejandro Balde. On the right side then, of course, that would be free for Ousmane Dembele. We're going to really need him in this game with the lack of forward options that we have. We need a goal from him. That's what we really need in front of goal. Yes, he can get in the good positions. Yes, he's got all of that pace, but we need that finishing touch from Ousmane, being the senior forward in this lineup. And then, of course, you look at what is left. We've got the goalkeeper there. We've got midfield options. And, of course, who is going to play in the centre of our front line. Let's first of all talk about the debatable ones in midfield, because I think in that holding role, you would often say that, yes, that's going to be Sergio Busquets. But I just think at what point, we spoke about it yesterday, De Jong was supposed to replace Busquets. When he was brought into the club, when we paid a lot of money for him, we expected that transition there from Busquets to De Jong, but it hasn't happened. And I just think right now, is that going to be his role? Or is that not really the plan anymore? Because I think in this game, Busquets probably is going to start once again. But I'm saying, at what point do we start to swap the two over and give De Jong more of a chance in that role? But if he's not there, I would expect him to play in the other interior position there alongside Xavi. It would be harsh to leave out Nico. I'm sure that he would come off the bench, but I just think especially here, given our lack of forwards, we need De Jong making those forward runs. We need him to be getting into the box. We need him to be stretching the play at times. And that is why maybe, as the time has gone on here, he's no longer considered in that deeper role, because he can be effective going forward. But of course, the big question is going to be, without Memphis Depay, we haven't had this problem this season. Until now, he has been fit and involved in every single game, but without him, who comes in? Because personally, I would not go with Luke de Jong. That would be an option that I think is probably being considered, because honestly, he's our only strike. Maybe you could get him on the end of some Dembele crosses, Abde getting to the byline, cutting things back, but I just don't really think in terms of mobility, in terms of getting into the right areas, is Luke de Jong going to be the answer in this game? I think there are other players as well who you could say maybe you could play them in a sort of false nine role. Coutinho is one of them, who does like to play in central areas, who can score goals. I think he would be very close on my list, I've got to say. People as well are talking about Ricky Puig, who has played that role one or two times in the past, who may be being considered by Xavi. But I think in the end, guys, what I would like to do, and honestly, this is something that I've wanted to see now for a number of weeks. We've spoken about it before. I think Yusuf Demir, this is a real opportunity for him there. Again, somebody who wants to be central, who wants to go in behind, who has that bit of burst of pace, and also, as we saw against Benfica, he can shoot. He has got real technique there in and around the box. We saw him in pre-season getting into really good areas, being intelligent in his running, and I just think here, alongside Abde, alongside Dembele, adding Yusuf Demir to that front three, on paper, it does look dangerous. But of course, with all of the outfield players accounted for, there's one more position that we need to address, and it's a very important one, because we have to talk about the goalkeeper, because it's not guaranteed, it is not a certainty here that Marc-Andre ter Stegen is going to play this game. And I don't think it should be that way. He should not be guaranteed to play every single game, regardless of how he plays. And I do think in this game, there is an opportunity here for Xavi to say, you know what, maybe we're going to go down another route. Maybe we're going to bring somebody else in to try and shock ter Stegen back into life, as we discussed yesterday. And I think putting him on the bench, that would be a real statement. That would send out clear messages, not just to ter Stegen, but to everyone else in the squad. And I would seriously consider doing that in this game. My gut feeling says that maybe that won't happen, that we're not quite at that stage yet, that Xavi will give ter Stegen more chances to redeem himself. I think he'll start against Osasuna, but believe me, you've got to step up. You've got to improve to keep that place, because the pressure now is on more than ever before. And I truly do mean that, guys, not just there in terms of ter Stegen, not just in terms of individuals, but when you look here at the league table, we're under huge pressure. We have to start winning games. We have to start getting points on the board in this league. We are in 7th place. You can see right there, we are 6 points away from the top 4, which is where we need to be, which is where we need to aim to be in the Champions League again next season. We've got the Madrid derby as well, also on Sunday. So one of, if not both of those teams, will be dropping points this weekend. We have ground to make up. We need to win this game. And you guys believe it will be possible, and so do I. I think in this game against Osasuna, they are a good team. They could actually overtake us in the league if they won this one, but we can't allow that to happen. We have to find a way here of scoring goals again, of keeping clean sheets, even despite our injuries. I think Dembele, he can have the impact we need. I think Abde, he can chip in as well. And if we see Yusuf Demir down the middle, what's to say that he can't get himself on the score sheet and really start showing us that potential that he has? Please leave your thoughts in the comments down below, guys. I am so interested here as to how you would line up in this game. If you were Xavi in that dressing room before the match, which names would be on your team sheet? Let me know all that and what you are expecting down below. I will, of course, see you soon, straight after the game, early on Sunday afternoon. Thank you indeed for watching and for supporting. But until next time, as always, Vizca, El Barça.